After Russia didn't receive an invite from the UK to the Queen's funeral, one wonders if Russia even cared. In this episode of 1 Week of Russian Propaganda, I will tell you about how Russian TV was fuming about the UK's audacity. I will tell you, how dare you, Brits? There are 4 countries the UK did not invite formally to come to Queen Elizabeth II's funeral. These countries are North Korea, Iran, Belarus, and Russia. Do you think that was not as important in a grand scheme of things, with massive backlash in response to Russian invasion of Ukraine, so that Russian propaganda would surely find something else to cover? Nope, as they couldn't find anything real to defame the Queen. Russian propagandists found nothing else but a French film from 1899, before Queen Elizabeth II was born.
Who was Queen Elizabeth in the end of the day? Here you can see a video of the Queen when she was young. This is how she fed the enslaved children in Africa. Look at this kindness, like she's feeding animals in a zoo. Well, this video embodies the attitude of the West and the Anglo-Saxons in particular to everyone in this world, apart from, obviously, themselves.
Brutal, huh? Well, the video was taken from SNN, Student News Network in Iran, publishing free content. Video quality is so bad versus the original, available on YouTube by the way, that you cannot even see that the actress on the video is not young and that she's throwing coins into the crowd, not food. The film was shot in Vietnam. Oh, it doesn't matter. If that's not enough, there is another grandiose revelation about the Queen. Apparently, Russian propaganda claims she was also a Nazi.
The video showed how Queen Elizabeth fed hungry black children like pigeons. And by the way, she also chanted Nazi salutes. There are lots of photos from various resources where she chants Nazi salutes.
Oh, everyone is a Nazi for Russian TV, it seems. Ukrainian president with Jewish heritage, yeah, Nazi. The Queen, Nazi. As an attempt to back up their video evidence, Russian propagandists referenced a statement by a Pan-African movement.
The Pan-African movement released a statement saying that Africa would not mourn the Queen due to her failure to recognize the atrocities that indigenous communities across Africa had suffered from due to colonialism. Africans said that they would not mourn the death of the Queen because for them she's a reminder of oppression and slavery.
So what is this movement? Well, it turns out the statement was made by Economic Freedom Fighters, or EFF, fellow communist / anti-capitalist / racist brothers of Russia. EFF's Wikipedia page defines party practices as fascist and compares its leader to Benito Mussolini. Great catch, Russian propaganda. Although the Queen, according to Russian TV, was such a cruel person, Russians are forgiving people, kind souls.
We expressed our condolences, and then we were the first ones to congratulate Karl III on his coronation, and they didn't even invite us to the funeral. We're very polite, but from time to time this politeness works against us.
Russian propagandists didn't really elaborate on who Karl III actually is. Come on, Google Translate must be better than that. I have a theory. They might not have been invited because their letter with condolences was sent to Karl III, so that King Charles III didn't receive it. How does this politeness work against Russia exactly? Well, Brits apparently are interested in the demise of Russia and take active part in Russia-Ukraine war directly.
Today, 2 countries are particularly interested in this war, the United Kingdom and the United States. The purpose of their actions is simply to destroy Russia. Despite the monarch status, Queen Elizabeth II is essentially the head of the British state. Everything that is done by the British state is done on behalf of Queen Elizabeth, that is, the supply of weapons to Ukraine, mercenaries, instructors, that is, Russian people in the Donbass and other regions that were killed in the name of Queen Elizabeth.
Well, even the intelligence service is already on the ground in Ukraine.
We evidence complete terror. As always, we observe the trace of Brits here, MI6. They don't even hide it and keep financing it.
One common theme in Russian propaganda is the message to reassure its people. Even though the enemy is strong, we're stronger. Where does Russian TV think that they're stronger than the UK? You guessed it right, nuclear warfare.
The UK has 245 nuclear warheads, which can be neutralized with a smart approach. In nuclear matters, we're much stronger than they are. Why should we bomb Ukraine or Germany? We should bomb the UK. That's it, the root of evil. When there is nothing else in the UK but a Martian desert, what will NATO's Article 5 protect? Protect the Martian desert? There will be nothing left.
Sorry guys, back to the Queen.
We should have bombed the UK on that day when there were all the best people at the funeral.
Even to me, it is honestly a bit surprising how disrespectful they are to the funeral of a person, even from a country which Russia doesn't like right now, especially of a person who has done so much for many people. Russian propaganda says, though, that it was not a funeral of a person, it was a funeral of a regime. Before showing off their nuclear potential, though, Russian propaganda makes its people believe they have already caused significant damage to the UK, to the extent that the UK government had to deregulate fast food.
That is a disgrace.
The UK now accuses Russia that the UK has a lot of fat people. Why? Well, one of Liz Truss' first decisions was to reverse the decree of her predecessors, to restrict advertising of unhealthy food, like fast food, junk food. She says it's deregulation. In fact, in this inflationary environment, it's simply impossible to restrict people in their right to buy the cheapest, fatty food.
But why? It is possible to restrict people in their right to buy fast food. Welcome to Russia, where companies exit the market en masse. Instead of evil McDonalds, you would think Russia would offer its people some healthy alternatives from these remarks. But no, they instead work on what is called import substitution. You can watch an example of it. That is it for this episode. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think these children in the alleged Queen video are now forced to be soldiers for Ukraine in the war? When Brits see fast food ads, is Russia the first thing that comes to mind? Thank you for watching and see you next time.